Randomizer, Keysanity, 6 instruments. Try saying that 5 times fast. Warlink, the floor is yours wherever that floor randomly takes you to. Take it away, or should I say, Boyo?
Thank you. Hello, I'm Warlink. I'm your running for today for this randomizer of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. With me with commentaries is Prevent-A-Thon's 2026 runner, darthplagal. Plago says, say hi.
Hi everybody, yes, that is a thing that did happen. Very happy to be here.
Yes, and if you notice in the camera area there's nothing there. I have some troubles with my webcam and all that stuff, and it's really hard for it to get it set up, and you don't want to see my mug being immersed, being straight focused on that stuff. Instead, I decided to put this up in screen. There we go.
I think Warlink might like Link's Awakening.
Just a little bit.
Getting that impression.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
to be honest, it's a pretty darn good game.
It is. So, like our host says, our sprite for our run is not Pat. Is is Kirby. So everything is set up. We got our sprite. We name our file. I'm ready. Playo, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Host, are you ready? I said host.
So we are all ready.
Okay.
We are all ready.
Okay. I will count it down and 3, 2, 1, and go.
Good luck, Warlink.
Best of luck.
Yep. And we wake up. Man, what do you have to say? Abandon all hope. You enter here. Ooh, this is gonna be ominous.
Yeah, it's an ominous message to get at the start of a randomizer seed, and not really ominous, but what Warlink's just gotten there is the power bracelet, which has just opened about 1/3 of the island to him, so that's a bit of a choice paralysis start, but that's good because we do need it. Yeah, Link's Awakening has been made 3 times now. It was originally released for the Game Boy in 1993, then this is Link's Awakening DX, which is a slightly updated version for the Game Boy Color in 1998, and there was a Switch version in 2019. But the randomizer is going to be much like, if you've played any of those versions, you'll recognize a whole lot of stuff. And the goal is much the same. We're going to try to collect the instruments of the sirens, open the egg, fight the nightmares, wake the windfish, and get Kirby, in this case, off the island. Oh, that was very
Yep.
But Warlink has Keysanity on today, which means that the dungeon items, the small keys, nightmare keys, maps, compasses, and stone beaks, can all be anywhere across the island, and anything, there's no real number limit to the number of to what items can be in each of the dungeons. And 6 instruments means that the egg will open after he has attained 6 of the 8 instruments. 8 is the default. 6 like many Zelda randomizers or other randomizers, you can set a different goal condition. We still have to do the nightmare fight and do things that way, but 8 instruments is fun. But sometimes the seed generator wakes up and chooses chaos, and so those 8 instrument seeds can actually be quite long. So reducing your instrument count can create a more marathon-friendly experience. So he's already got the power bracelet and the hook shot, which is definitely a thing that's his main weapon right now. He is still going to need a sword though, so we're just going to clear out some early area checks here and see what else we can find.
Yeah, I decided to do 6 instruments instead of 8 because doing 8 instruments, the time doing 8 instruments under standard settings is about the same as 6 under Keysanity, so I picked 6. As long as this, like Plago says, hasn't decided to choose violence. So far, nothing too silly is besides the feather at the beach that we need a certain item to trade in. So yeah. So, and with Keysanity turn on, we're basically at the mercy of how the seed generates placement of the items. During my D-Rust after the Frost Foretell run that Plago did, in which I helped vetted the seed and all that stuff, and finally got out the shackles of not doing all the bombs. Bombs are like Consider one of the broken items in the game. We will show off why. Yes. Like, after betting all the seeds for a player for her run and only doing things that she able to do, I'm now officially not limited to her skill set and able to do all the Mr. Key Cavern, okay? Able to do all the tricks and all the fun stuff I usually do. So this run could be I can hit estimate, or I can hit like in 90 minutes. Like I said, it depends on if the generator decided being nice or not. So
yeah, the times can vary really intensely depending on where stuff is, especially in a key seed. Yeah, so we'll need 6 instruments. Any 6 will do. It's not there is a separate setting if you're interested in playing LEDXR. It's a great community, but there is a separate setting if you wanted to randomize things even further and have a certain number of specific instruments. That's a separate that is a setting that's available. But yeah. Things going well. We saw the flippers earlier, which means that Kirby can now swim, which is very important. Several of the dungeons are actually are gated by the flippers, so that's an important thing to see. We're like just sort of clipping past those swamp blossoms there. Those are in the vanilla game. You are expected to go rescue Bow Wow, and then Bow Wow will eat anything, including the very poisonous flowers. But if you have access to the power bracelet, like we do, which was the first item, and you clip into the sort of, I don't know, like branches, coral? I'm not sure what those are supposed to be, but if you clip into those enough, you actually bypass the hitbox for those. There is a way to get in there without having one of the items that would actually take care of the swamp blossoms. So that wasn't out of logic there. The hookshot actually puts those into logic. But you can also use the the boomerang or the fire rod. Oh, sorry, the magic rod to get past those.
Yep, and also level 2.
So we'll be
and also level 2 sword.
Yes, there are 2 swords in this game. It's not like A Link to the Past where one sword has lore implications and is gating anything. The level 2 sword is just more powerful. And we might be seeing it, we might not. But the sword is also he's gonna need to find a sword, even though the hookshot is making quick work out of a lot of enemies here, because certain enemies, certain bosses and certain mini bosses are programmed to only take damage from the sword. Moldorm in Dungeon 1 is an example, and so yeah, there's no getting out of this seed without a sword, even though other weapons seem to be more powerful. Ooh, there's a trading quest item. So the trading quest is on. All the trading quest items are on, and you return the item to the person who would expect to receive them in the vanilla game to get something else, not necessarily the item that you would receive in the vanilla game.
So basically, the first like 10-20 minutes of this run, I'm just doing all the individual checks that are on the overworld, try to hopefully get some progression or some weapons to be able to traverse easily. Basically, we're just and also open up those portals. You saw me near. After I dive into Battleground, I went to right to see that portal and save and quit. I just opened that portal up so whenever I use the portal, I can fast travel over there. And basically, I'm just going through and just do all, like I said, do the first few the start is going to be like linear, all that stuff, and I can't do anything until like there's 1 or 2 checks happen, and then progression shows up and it will crack open the world even more. Definitely.
We're also going to get a sense of what dungeons might be good to visit early based on what small keys we start seeing. Also, just as a side note, you might notice that when we changed the sprite to Kirby based on your participation in the bid war, so thanks for that, other sprites are changing as well. So those would normally be hearts in the health meter and a heart, like a full heart container that we saw earlier, and a heart piece, but they're stars instead. Like the whole more of the seed has become Kirby themed than just Link himself. So that's a fun touch. A lot of cool sprites in the that are available.
Yeah, and the community has gone through and just created new spreadsheets, all that stuff. The whole Discord has the tendency of, if something comes up in the Discord, people decide for the next few weeks to go nuts on that one idea. One of them was adding new spreadsheets for the generator. There was one time of everyone. There's a channel in our Discord for text suggestions for Marin to say at the start. So there's like, I think, a little over 500 different sayings she says. So people just drop some random lines in there. Most of them like memes, pop culture references, video games, all that fun stuff. So
and some community in jokes too.
Yep. And the whole randomizer is it's all open source. It's maintained by Dade, the lead programmer of the randomizer. So if there's any time I went in and update the Marin text, all that stuff. Also another change to Kirby. Some of the animals are transformed to Kirby enemies. So thank you for that.
Hanging out, having a good time. Yeah, so what we saw, Morlink did the first of 3 available seashell checks. The 20, if you collect 20 secret seashells in the vanilla game, you can go into that hut and receive the level 2 sword. If you go in vanilla with exactly 5 or exactly 10, you will get a bonus secret seashell. All of those are now checks, though. You don't need exactly 5 or exactly 10, or you could end up soft locking yourself. Yeah, we've just seen the first one, which was 50 rupees, and there is our first sword.
Hooray!
That's important.
Yeah, and for the longest time, the check for this mansion was just 20, but if you come in at 5 or 10, you get a bonus seashell, which is not in logic, but it's a bonus. And then one of the monthlies that Dade created for some proof of concepts, he fixed that, and it's like he's in these color dungeon. Okay, he just went in and just changed it to that. It threw everyone off. Like, wait, we're missing something, and that's right.
It was a surprise. Yeah. That's
By the way, you mentioned 5 and 10. Well, I'm glad you actually mentioned those 2 numbers, because we actually got a $5 donation from Cell saying, seeing Kirby waddle around is giving me so much joy, but you know what would give me even more joy? Seeing that Marin date. Good luck, Warlink. May the RNG be kind. And we're getting closer and closer to that Marin date, because we also got a $10 donation from Karibo just saying, boyo? And those 2 donations just puts us ever so closer to the Marin date. We are now $55 away from meeting that date, and a bit of a neat little challenge for any potential. If you want I have an idea. If you had a chance to take Marin out on a date, what would your ideal date be? If you want, I will read your idea with your donations, but we don't have a ton of time. Obviously, we want to make sure we get to see that Marin date before the end of the run.
Yeah,
it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's such a sweet scene.
And because what I usually do when I run this is that once that Marin date is met, no matter what I'm doing, I'm dropping everything and we're doing that date, and we're having her tag along for the rest of the run. Because one, you all donate to it, and 2, and B, or 2, I forgot where we're at. And secondly, in that cutscene, it's the same as the vanilla, but the message and the cutscene and stuff, it's just beautiful.
It's the same as vanilla, but it's Kirby.
Yeah.
And I think we all want to see that. We're seeing a whole lot of trading quest stuff pretty early on here, but what you might have also noticed there is that the game's broken just the tiniest bit. You're supposed to have the fishing hook to do that turn in. Warlink does not have the fishing hook. What he has is bombs. And so that was an example of a bomb trigger, which is a way of forcing the game to, or forcing or gently encouraging, I guess you could put it either way, of getting the game to play an available cutscene, which in this case was gating an item. I want to say turn in, but it's actually it's a scene that would give you an item, a check. And so we saw that was the first bomb trigger of this seed right there. Very cool.
What you're talking about, Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color is a perfectly programmed game that doesn't have any bugs, glitches, or anything. It's not being held together by rubber band, duct tape, and a miracle.
Fair. I mean, we like all those things, so I think we would argue it is perfectly coded. Because they're fun. They're very fun. Having gotten the bananas, we've been able to build a bridge over to Keysanity Castle. Because unlike A Link to the Past, where Kiki wants that version of Kiki would like some money, this game's version of Kiki is willing to be paid in food. And I think we're going to see one of the checks a lot of us find to be one of the more annoying, one of the more tedious ones, which is the Keysanity Castle moat, which has to be accessed in this manner by swimming all the way around the castle and then doing a B button dive in the area where the 5 pits are. I don't know that it's ever not frustrating, even when it's important. Because it's still a lot of steps, but it's out of the way now.
Yeah, and why
it's out of the way.
Yeah, and the reason why I popped into that booth in is because the way the game game is programmed is whenever you save and quit, whenever you load the game back, it loads you back to the last door you transition out. So. That saves a lot of time to swim back, so time save.
It's very powerful and very effective, and that I think is why there's a whole speedrun vanilla category where you are not allowed to do it.
Also, yeah, and also talking about speedruns for this randomizer and for every official race on the Discord. This is a no uwu run, basically no long warp, no out of bounds, so. I'm not breaking the law to get to places that I'm not allowed to be in.
Exactly.
Like, I can do it, but it just takes the fun away. Unless you're
doghouse glitch today.
Unless you're playing a higher logic seed or playing a multi-world, then okay, okay, boomerang isn't turn around. Okay, so noted. And I need to do this quick.
So the trendy game is where you would normally get the Yoshi doll in vanilla, which is what kicks off the trading quest. Here it's got some money, which I have a feeling we're going to bypass, but in this particular version of the game, this got taken out of the Switch version because they got wise to us. You can just get magic powder here by knowing what the timing is. In vanilla, you are expected to do a big thing with getting a mushroom and bringing it to the witch and having the witch make magic powder in order to turn Taran back into a human from his raccoon state. Don't worry about it too much. In order to get the tail key in the forest because he's creating a maze in the forest. But you can also just know how the crane game works and bypass the whole mushroom thing entirely. So, but magic powder is actually also gating a couple of checks. We're going to see one very shortly. If you've played A Link to the Past, you might be familiar with the magic bat, where you sprinkle magic powder on in his home. And wake him up, and he responds by what he thinks is actually a bad thing, but it's actually reducing the amount of magic power that you use when you use magic power. Similar here, there are 3 magic bats, and they will, in the vanilla game, increase your item capacity for your consumable items, bombs, arrows, and magic powder. But these are checks. Those 3 item capacity upgrades are scattered throughout the game, and here instead we have Frog Song of Soul.
Yep, that...
Nothing to play it on yet, but Frog Song of Soul.
Yep, the song that is only useful in 2 checks. And I'm going to do it once. If I get to it.
Yes, that one is also gated by 2 other items that we don't have.
2 other items and more additional items to get to there, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're barely 20 minutes in.
Just a little. Right, so here, this is the Moblin Cave, where all of these Moblins could be taken out by the hookshot, the magic rod, the boomerang, bombs, magic powder, but the guy in the next room here, the Moblin boss, this mini-boss, will only react to sword damage on this level of logic. We should also maybe talk a little bit about logic levels. This is a normal logic seed. The game is not, the seed itself is not expecting Warling to do anything that would be outside, really outside the boundaries of normal vanilla gameplay. He is going to do things that are outside those boundaries, but they're not considered in logic. If you wanted to get fancy though, the generator, if you were really keen on glitches, you could say, I want a glitch logic seed, and it will expect you in logic to do things like the bomb trigger he did before. So plenty of options if this is something that looks interesting and you want to learn the game breaking stuff and actually be required to do it.
Yeah, it's technically there's 5, but it's 4 levels of logic. Normal, hard, glitch, and the one that you're gonna have a bad time if you don't know some of the tricks, because that one is just basically good luck.
It's very impressive though when you see people pull that stuff off.
Yeah,
I can't do it, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, basically that level of logic is for tricks that are like time consuming, requires good precision, all that stuff, and it's not all that stuff. That's this room has that logic it has, but I'm like no.
Yeah, it is. What he's talking about is that it is technically possible to get through that room without the feather, which we don't have, and only with the boots by bonking across all of those pits one at a time. If you go down one of the pits, though, you will respawn at the start of the room, not on the platform you just fell off of, and it can be done. The question is, how do you really want to do it that badly? For me, the answer is no. We're going to trade in the letter here. Mr. Wright is here visiting us from Sin City. Princess Peach is not really in this game. And we're going to get 10 arrows for our very brief mail quest.
Hooray.
More than that, we're going to get the peace of mind of knowing that we're not leaving anything important there.
Yep.
That's really what this is all about. And here we have another thing that personally I tend to put off, and I think just because it is a bit time consuming. It is not possible unless you are TAS. It is not possible to do this in exactly one round of fishing. You must get that small, tiny little guy out of the way before we can lure the bigger one instead. That is a heart piece, a piece of heart in vanilla, but it is also a check in the randomizer.
Okay.
Mind if I step in real quick?
Absolutely.
Go right ahead.
We have a very important donation, a $6.70 donation from Kerbo, simply saying, "Boil 7." that went into the Marin date, and that means that we are now less than $50 away from needing that incentive. So let's see if we can try and get to $75 for that incentive. Remember, when you're donating, make sure to select the Marin date option when you are donating. We want to see that date before the end of the run. I cannot wait. I am all dressed up to the nines for this date.
Hey, Playo, do you see what I picked up?
It's happening. Oh, I absolutely did.
Yeah,
I absolutely 100% did.
Hold on. We have to do this check first. Oh, and Kirby's playing music. Beautiful.
Yeah, so Whirling picked up the ocarina there, obviously, which is the thing that makes this check possible. This game has 3 songs that you learn to play on the ocarina that serve different purposes throughout the game. The 3 locations where you learn the songs are checks, and the 3 songs themselves are items that appear throughout the game. So, I mean, we're doing it now, right?
Oh yeah,
It's happening?
oh yeah,
It's happening?
Oh yeah, it's something we agree is gonna happen.
We agreed. You know how we were saying, like, he's gonna do the date as soon as that incentive gets met? There was another thing we were definitely saying was gonna happen as soon as it was technically feasible. That we were saying, yeah, so the game's got 3 songs.
The one we saw, but
in our hearts, there's really only one song, right? You have to sing along in chat.
Yep.
Chat.
If you know the words, sing it or spam in the chat. Worth it.
Oh, every time. Okay, so one of the things we haven't mentioned. Sorry.
I said I absolutely loved it.
Wasn't it great?
Before you say anything, this goes right here. If you are low on magic, bombs, or arrows, if you talk to that ghost, he will fill it to 10. It's a measure to prevent soft lock. Only in the random.
Yeah, that's a reference to there is a side quest in the vanilla game where you have to you finish dungeon 4, you leave, suddenly there's a ghost following you who wants to see its home again and then be taken back to its grave. You have to, otherwise the ghost sort of like the ghost follows you around. It walks around with you. You end up having to do those things, or it will bother you every like a set number of after a set interval of time. If I'm not mistaken, the vanilla speedrun is actually routed so that you end up skipping, bypassing that by not actually completing dungeon 4 until right before the end. So the ghost text there references the fact that it's not super popular. So he's giving away free stuff to make up for that.
Yeah, but no.
Now hold it. I'm sorry to interrupt, and I know Kirby just took a dream, but however, Kirby's got no time to sleep because he's got to get ready for a date because we have just met the Marin date incentive thanks to a $50 donation from Toodler507 saying needs more dates. Well, we are gonna get a date, and Kirby, you better impress Marin because you only get one shot at a date.
Short legs.
It's true. Great job, chat. I'm very
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you, chat.
I don't actually know that I've seen the scene with Kirby.
Me neither.
It's gonna be a treat for me too.
Yeah, and where was Marin the whole time? Well, if you play the vanilla game, she's down here.
Such a good scene.
Is it, chat? Is this our big chance?
I think so.
They're gonna have a nice time.
Yep. With that, Marin's going to tag along for the rest of the run. And there's a few things that she does that shows up in the vanilla game that I'm tending to show off. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, I was in this.
This is Dream Shrine. Dream Shrine is where you would get the ocarina in the vanilla game. That chest right there that we can see. It's technically blocked by the boots, which we don't have. There is also a secret fun way to get that, which I think we currently also don't have access to. But there is this this chest on the right that can be accessed. Also, these mimics, if you're familiar with randomizers or games like A Link to the Past, they do function a bit like those mimics in that their movement can be manipulated by grabbing onto the wall. Also, shout out to Kirby's grabbing sprite, that's very cute.
Okay, so we are... Okay, now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the run, we're at the point that there are a few checks left, and it's just basically hopefully go to the right area and hopefully find something to crack things open. So we're going to the one dungeon that, if this is under normal settings, it's the one place you don't want to go to, but because Keysanity,
Yeah.
it's not that bad because there are more checks than the two it has.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Color Dungeon. Color Dungeon was introduced in Link's Awakening DX to show off the fact that the Game Boy Color had color. And so your reward for defeating Color Dungeon was the choice of either a blue tunic or a red tunic that would increase your defense or increase your offense. And so those two tunics are in the item pool somewhere, which means that in a not Keysanity seed, where all of the keys and maps and so on are in the original dungeon, there would be two non-dungeon items in here. The key logic in LADXR in a non-Keysanity seed and a default settings seed is different from how it would work in, again, like A Link to the Past, where you can have a room that's locked with one check where the small key can be getting itself. That can't happen in LADXR.
Yeah.
So all three of the small keys have to be in areas that are not like self-contained locked doors. And since this is, there are no real expected logic shenanigans, so things like the nightmare key have to be outside the nightmare door or the boss door. And because like Warlink was saying earlier, we play without going without using the out of bounds possibilities. So it's very tempting to put off going to Color Dungeon in a standard setting seed. Whereas if it's a Keysanity seed, there are 9 possible items in here. and it becomes way more tempting to come in here. He did get the slime key that is gating Dungeon 3 Key Cavern. Key Cavern has, I think we've already found quite a few Key Cavern smalls.
Yeah.
There are 9 small keys in all. You can do a full clear on 8. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
and beat it on 5.
Yeah. Logically, you need 8 keys to full clear D3. For my purposes, I can do it in 7. Some runners can do it in 6. But with 6, you're gambling on some where keys at and making sure you're running your key usage correctly. And knowing one particular trick that is slightly RNG dependent, but it's doable. But I don't feel like doing it tonight. I know how to do it, but I haven't practiced. And I think
we all
practice, and I don't have the one particular item to do it. So.
By the way, mind if I step in really quickly with a pretty big announcement to make?
Go ahead.
We have opened a new incentive for our next run, which is the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past run, which is Defeat Aghanim. And if anybody has any memories from back in the day playing Link to the Past, you know how satisfying it is to beat Aghanim. And that has now opened up at $75. Damasu will defeat Aghanim. So we don't have that much time to meet that incentive. So when you're donating, make sure that you type in the chat !donate if you haven't already. And when you're making your donations, be sure to select the Defeat Aghanim donation incentive when you are doing so. Remember, we only need $75 to hit that incentive.
And that's like an extension of that run too, right? Because that's Master Sword.
Yep, it is. Yeah,
more
basically,
Zelda.
yeah. You get a little bit more Zelda, and who doesn't want more Zelda?
Oh no! I forgot to open the dungeon for
Oh no! The
What?
keyhole's on the other side. What are you gonna do?
Hold on! I think Kirby's short arms can reach around and open up. Hold on. There we go.
Good job, Kirby.
Oh, that's a thing that Marin does. Anytime I enter a dungeon, she says, "Oh, you're going in there? I'll stay out and while you're going there." So
Someone's got to stay and be the lookout. That's an important job.
oh yeah. See, I have 6 keys, so
Yeah, there's quite a lot that Warlink can do in here. This is the dungeon where you would normally get the boots in the vanilla game. So much of this, a lot of the later, the stuff, completing it and getting some of the late dungeon checks is technically boots gated, like the next room.
we found Ku.
Amazing. That is a great
Yep.
swap. That's a great swap. So the Flying Rooster is really going to open up a lot of the overworld. It's a temporary companion in the vanilla game, but in the randomizer, it is actually an inventory item that can be used in place of in place of the feather and the boots. And then on some certain screens, also the flippers. You can use it to fly over water as long as your way back onto land is on the same screen, because you can't screen transition with it. The shovel also just opened up a whole bunch of checks, including one that's
And
also demonstrates that the game is a little bit broken.
and I'm debating. Yeah, now I am debating on doing a particular check or not. Let's see. Nope. You know what? Let's open this up. That gives us. Now I'm gonna pick that up. Nice. Have to do things like, oh, I can do this room. Wait, I don't have to. one item to.
And based on what
do
we
the
saw
fun stuff.
earlier, one of the most important items in this particular seed is going to be, believe it or not, the dog food. Because that is what we have to give to Sail, the alligator, in order to get a thing we really need. Not just to do things in logic, but also to do some fun shenanigans that are very much not in logic.
In logic or doing stuff the fun way. Fun way slash fun way and wait, how do I do this in the vanilla way again?
It is very once you've learned some stuff like that, it's very easy to get very used to it. So we were just talking earlier about how the actually I'm going to hold off on explaining that because I know there's going to be a thing we want to explain
let's
here.
see. Bsky.app was too far away. I'll come back later. So yeah.
Fair enough. I mean. That's the meme quote, right? I can't wait to bomb a bongo. We were just talking earlier though about the booster being a replacement for the feather. The trade-off is that it does not work in dungeons. It works on the overworld and it works in caves. Its original function is in a cave, but here it's not going to do us any good. It's not a one-to-one replacement for the feather.
And if you hear me pressing the A button, yep, can't use it here. So.
We tried. It is a really interesting part of the randomizer, though, because it makes things. It can really make things a whole lot less linear.
Yeah, and also
than you might be used
to.
to.
And also with the science, you can also turn some items on off. You can turn off the booster, be part of the pool. That also updates some of the checks to accommodate with that. If you don't like the whole training, find random training because that runs then. That was easy. Yeah, if you don't want to do the whole find all the training items, all that stuff, and you just want basically the do the whole training sequence as intended, you can turn that off and just basically it's a Yoshi doll into how do I do the whole if you give a mouse a cookie sequence.
Yeah, I didn't know you could actually bomb those bomb enemies themselves, and that they would replace your bombs until I played the randomizer. And even more interesting is the fact that that is the only way to get them to actually despawn. If you were to let them blow themselves up and then go back into the room, they would be back and you would have to do it again because that's a kill room with the doors lock on you. But that was the bird key there, and the bird key is gating access to Dungeon 7. But I think the hope is not going all the way up the mountain to Dungeon 7 just yet.
Yeah, logically I can only do one check in there, so alas.
Right.
Okay, I need to focus on this, so that was easy.
Very nice.
So what?
So that's Villa Skip. That is
So what did I just did, Flagel?
You have tricked the game. First of all, the scientific definition is that he has tricked the game into prioritizing the screen transition over the falling transition, and that is something that is used in the vanilla speedruns to skip the Canalit Castle. I guess it's not really a side quest because in normal gameplay it is expected and required of you, which is something that Richard is visiting us from another game. We haven't seen him yet, but I think we'll be seeing him shortly. You go into the villa, you talk to Richard. He has been thrown out of his castle. He says, "Can you find my golden leaf?" You say, "Sure, Richard, I will find your golden leaf." And then he said, "That's great. There are 5 golden leaves." And so you have to sneak into the castle. That was where we were going to get into by... we gave Kiki the monkey some bananas earlier, and that helped build the bridge.
Yep, here's Richard.
There's Richard. Hi, Richard. We just crawled out of his basement. Don't worry about it. He has frogs. It's fun.
Yep.
And but in the vanilla, like any percent no wrong warp not about speedruns, that takes a lot of time. It's very tedious, and so Villa Skip is the technique that lets you bypass that entirely. The trade-off, the reason you do that is that if you do that for him, he will let you through his basement into the field, basically the opposite way of what we just did there, and then let you dig up the slime key in the location that Warlink was just digging. So that's it's a very it's a big time save. But in the randomizer, it will get you 2 checks without having to get the 5 golden leaves, which are scattered throughout the pool.
Yeah, and 2 things. Number 1, if you look at the image that on screen with all the links, linking stuff, all that stuff, you see one thing that doesn't look like the other, and it's that game cartridge all the way to the left, next to the Game & Watch. That is the game he's from. It's called. It's translated to The Product from Whom the Bell Tolls, and it's the. That game is what Link's Awakening first development based off of. So that's why it's in that image. It's basically it was. Some of the work on that game also came over to here. If you know the development history of this game, it's quite interesting knowledge of how this game got kind of fruition and all that stuff. So I don't go into that deep. Also, don't pay attention what Marion looks like. She's fine.
It's fine.
She's fine.
She's wearing a very lovely lettered dress with a star overalls.
She's dressed up for her date. Exactly. This is one of there are 6 digging locations that are become accessible once you have the shovel. This is one of the more annoying ones. That the only way to get through there is through that connector. And once you do it, there's no easy jump down. You've got to go all the way back, or you've got to warp out. So always nice to get that out of the way, and know that it's not haunting you any further. So I think if I am... Oh, okay. Bat. Speaking of, there are several of these things, and some of the locations are more annoying than others. We're gonna see our second magic bat location.
Yeah.
This one being tedious.
Yeah. Each runner has their own check they don't like to do because it's really out of the way or tedious. This one here is one of my least favorites because it's all out of the way just for one check and requires some items to do it. So
okay, this was worth it.
Yep. Yep. Worth it.
That was worth it. We already saw Monbo, but we saw the game's other best boy. Or we found the game's other best boy, and we will see him if we go back to the swamp area, which we'll have to do because probably it's very likely that we'll be seeing the Dungeon 2, getting the Dungeon 2 item, just because of the things that are needed to finish that dungeon are things that are needed for many other things in the game. So when you have a reduced instrument seed, it's my experience is it's extremely likely that that's going to be one of your dungeons.
Yeah.
Stealing is bad.
But if I save this tower, nope, not going to buy it. But what Warlink you say? You said you need a small key to do to access that dungeon. Well, yes, I can. Well, yes, I need that small key, logically. But like I said, there are fun ways to do complete that dungeon. And hoping to get to it.
Agreed. It's also one that gives you more small keys than you need. You really only, if you're going to do it the logical way, you really only need one. If you want to do it the fun way, you need 0. but there are 3 in total. I like how even though you've done several of the dig locations, Marin just gets very excited about it every time, and she's just as enthusiastic.
And no, there's one more dig spot left, and
Okay.
that is it with the shovel.
Oh yeah, the bay.
And that's it for the shovel for now.
Yeah. If only there was some other use for the shovel.
Oh yeah. Like in the vanilla game, you use it as a trade item to get the most powerful weapon in the game.
But that weapon's just in the pool here, and we didn't have to trade it. We saw Boomerang Guy. We didn't have to trade anything to him, which is a setting, by the way. If you are interested in having a bit more of a vanilla mechanics experience, you can set the boomerang check to be a trade instead of a gift, which it was in this scene. This is our last of the digs.
Yes, I know. Oh.
Game also has some very funny joke hints. That is a very conveniently placed necklace.
It's almost French vanilla-ish, like off by one screen.
Oh, yeah.
In the Japanese version, in the vanilla game, she's missing her necklace. In the Japanese version, she's missing her bikini top. Wait, nope. Okay, I was, full disclosure, I was about to dive into D5, but...
We have to see an alligator about a feather.
And since we get the feather, we're going to complete our first dungeon. It's going to be a while to get up there, but... There's going to be a lot of checks along the way, so...
Yes, to answer that question in chat, Sale is technically the feather merchant now. He's going to trade us a feather in exchange for this can of dog food, which he's going to consume whole. Don't worry about it. It's fine. The vanilla game, we get bananas from him, because that is Sale's house of bananas, but we're getting something way more important this time.
Behold!
Not that the bananas aren't important. Potassium's important, but...
Behold, the feather, the first dungeon item of the game, supposedly gets a lot of things. Because it's, like I said, the first item in the game. Not only is it the first item in the game, but if I pull up the feather... like Plago says, I need the boots to get through the crystals to get the chest where the ocarina... the chest that has the ocarina in the vanilla game. But if I do this...
Kirby can fly.
Ta-da!
And that was a super jump.
I mean, Kirby could always fly, right? Right?
Yes.
Whee!
Super jumping is very fun. It is another thing that got patched out of later versions of Link's Awakening DX, sadly. And so, yeah, just as answering chat, yes, you can do that in vanilla if it is the right version of the game. It got patched out later, and I think there are also some differences between how certain glitches work in Link's Awakening for Game Boy versus Link's Awakening DX for Game Boy Color. But super jumping is when we convince the game that no, really, we are jumping off a ledge. For serious. What do you mean there's no ledge in this room? And you can get some additional height and clear obstacles that you are not meant to clear that way. So we will we'll be seeing some more, and they're all very entertaining and very satisfying to do. But we're heading up Telltale Heights. Some of the best. We're in a cave right now, but the Telltale Heights overworld has some of the best overworld music, in my opinion.
Yep. Compass, we don't need that.
Yeah, magic powder is available as an item. We did watch Warlink scam it from the trend. He didn't scam it technically, I shouldn't say that. He paid to play the trendy game. but the game expects you to get magic powder in a specific way, and he got it earlier than that. So this is an example of how you can use those crystals are meant to be run through with the boots, but that's an example of how the rooster can be used to get around not having the boots, because there's a place to land on the same screen you took off from.
Got a ribbon.
Quite a lot of the trading quest.
Yep.
The mountain is very item heavy, item dense. There's quite a lot to check up here. 2 of the 8 dungeons, the 8 instrument dungeons, are up on the mountain, which can make coming up to the mountain. Well, it depends on what mode you're playing, I think, and what your personal running style is. But if you're someone who likes to group a lot of checks together, it's a lot of people will wait until they have access to one or both of those dungeons to attempt climbing the mountain. It can be very easy to get tempted by it, but here is 5 chest game.
What's in them? Just give me a few 10 seconds to do this check.
Yeah, the secret to 5 chest game is patience.
Yeah. These 5 chests all has the same item. Today's item is each 100 rupees, so I'm maxed out.
Nice.
These can have.
If you can only access all 5 checks from coming in, approaching from that bottom door at the south. The rocks are placed in a way that you cannot do it coming in from the north. And if you were to open any one of the chests and then go out the door and then come back, all 5 of the chests will be open and empty. So that is a thing I know definitely plagued a lot of us casually as kids.
Pretty sure it has a secret.
Yeah. Some of the that's a real hint. Some of the real hints are vague. That's just indicating that something potentially important is in Face Shrine. The game also has some really excellent joke hints as well. The desert has sand. Animal Village has animals. It's the more you know.
Yeah, that has says Face Shrine has a secret. That means that the randomizer has a pool of items that is considered like important, quote unquote, and it's a combination of. It's mostly progression, so
yeah.
So that science says, hey, Face Shrine has something important. Could it be progression? Well, I don't know. Come back later.
This is Dungeon 7. Speaking of other things that I think plagued a lot of us as casually as kids, this is an interesting dungeon where it currently has 4 floors. We want it to have 3 floors though. There are some load-bearing pillars that we're going to we're going to remove from the premises, and we're going to bring the 4th floor down to the 3rd floor, and then get access to things like the boss.
Yep. And normal saying.
But anyway.
Yeah, and normal sayings, this item right here will be the small key to open that door right here, but we don't have a key. I don't have 0 keys. So, you're expecting, oh, you walked up there and did nothing. Just for 1 check. Well, if I do this and if I do ta-da!
There we go, first try.
Hit that, and now oh, look at that sad purple. Oh.
Oh yeah, Kirby gets to fight Kirby in this dungeon.
Yep.
And there's one of the golden leaves that we do not need because Warlink did Villa Skip.
Yep. And something I forgot to mention, I usually do this for every marathon run. Seashells and golden leaves are this game's collectibles. For every secret seashell I collect, I will donate $1. every golden leaf I collect, I'll donate $5. And at each level, if any of the items it gives is progression or important, I'll add that level's amount as a donation. So, what did I do that? I haven't. So basically, 5 wasn't. 5 didn't get anything. So 10 just opened up. So if the 10 seashell reward gives something required, I'll donate an additional 10. So.
And if everybody wants to sort of match that amount that Warlink is going to donate, make sure that you hit !donate. And as a reminder, Prevent-A-Thon 7 is in support of Little Warriors, a Canadian-based charity. Your donations are processed in Canadian dollars, but if you live in a different country, your donations through the link via !donate will automatically be converted for you. To see your rate of exchange for US dollars and British pounds, you can type !rate in chat, and hey, maybe you can find out how much in your currency it's going to take to meet the $75 it'll take to get to meet the Defeat Aghanim incentive for our next run, Link to the Past Master Sword run coming up after this.
Nice. So the intended way to do this dungeon is that there's a metal ball in a room we haven't seen, and you're supposed to go through all kinds of puzzles to figure out how to get the ball into all 4 of those rooms so that you can actually pick it up and throw it against those 4 pillars there. But the pillar, oh no. Sorry, I'm just captivated watching Kirby fight other Kirby. The scenes where the pillars fall are considered cutscenes and can be brought on with bomb triggers. So that part's done.
Yeah.
We have yeah.
Yeah, and every Zelda game has one of those dungeons that you dread, like I don't want to do this. Oh, magic rod.
Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be somewhat helpful. But yeah, we only had some of those dungeons because it's like tedious or convoluted and all that stuff. But if you play the randomizer long enough, or pick up some of the like speedrunner tricks to make it like bearable, it's like, oh, this is like the best dungeon ever. Eagle's Tower is one of them. Another example is Ice Palace from Link to the Past. That's don't like that dungeon as a kid, but know how to do icebreaker. It's like, oh, this is fun. So, and also during the randomizer, you know some of the speedrunner tricks, so can make things during the vanilla. Lots of stuff like, oh, this is a lot faster or easier than the intended ways.
The other fun thing about the randomizer is you end up learning tricks that would do you absolutely no good in the vanilla game, just because you have items you would never be expected to have. But still fun.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of the intended way, this is not the intended way.
Yeah.
What's about to happen?
I think this is it.
That one is hard to pull off.
Yep. Let's see. I need to do this. Do that. Smoky things. Do that.
So not only are we seeing this dungeon keyless, we are also going to see the boss fight happen technically out of logic. The item in this dungeon is actually the second of 2 shields. We don't have any shields.
Yep.
and you're supposed to use a shield. You're technically, for normal logic reasons, you're supposed to have both shields, even though the first shield works just, the level 1 shield works just as well to deflect the feather attack that Evil Eagle is going to inflict, which has the potential to knock Link off the platform, which resets the fight. But we'll see something else instead.
Yep, and hopefully the thing that I'm going to do, hopefully it's... Wow. Man, why am I having trouble with him?
Nice.
There we go.
You two wanna know what else is nice?
Yes.
The fact that we just met the Defeat Aghanim incentive already in one fell swoop with a $75 donation from Dented Racer saying, good luck to the runners and thanks for supporting an amazing cause. And thank you, Dented Racer, for that big donation and meeting the incentive. And thank you to all people who have donated throughout the Prevent-A-Thon with all their donations going to Little Warriors. Thanks to everyone who spread the word, donated, tuned in. Every bit of support helps.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay, now the next... Oh, I need a nightmare key to get through that door. Oh, how am I going to bypass that? There we go.
Super jumping is very powerful.
Yep, and that one is a super jump and basically have to bounce off an enemy to get on those blocks. More arrows. And
There's also another way to bypass the Nightmare Key door called Goomba surfing, where there were those Goombas in the other room, and you can end up sort of positioning them in a particular way and jumping off one of them to bounce onto this platform that Warlink just went onto.
Yep.
That is the only Nightmare Key door you are allowed to skip with no out of bounds rules, because he has not gone out of bounds. He just got crafty instead.
Yep. And with this boss, that is every check and Eagle's Tower with 0 keys.
There.
I don't have it. Let me double check. Yep, don't have it.
So we were talking about levels of logic earlier, and how you would, for a normal logic Evil Eagle kill, you would need both shields. Doing it, even though it's exactly the same fight, doing it with the level 1 shield is also not in logic. That was 3 hits thanks to the magic rod. That was technically considered hard logic. And the thing that was hard logic about it is the fact that the game doesn't expect you to know that that works, because you would not get the magic rod until Dungeon 8, and this is Dungeon 7 in vanilla. But it is a lifesaver of a trick to know. And that's instrument number 1.
Okay, that's 1 instrument out of 6 needed.
Well on our way.
Yeah, now... another thing Trim brought up, you can see my tracker to the left of the gameplay. That is... that's Magpie, one of the fellow members of the community, K-Branch, developed. It all tracks what items you collected, tells you what checks are in logic and all that stuff. Implements, when you click on a spot, it would tell you what items you need to, if you're in, like, if the check is in higher logic, it would tell you what items needed to complete that check, and also have reference to the tech page of all the different glitches, higher logic techniques and all that stuff. So it is like really beginner friendly. The setup is quite simple. And the map itself, there's a sprite that tracks your movement, all that stuff, and it helps you on where you were the past few minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is. It is like really
It
helpful.
rules.
Now, wait.
Well, this is awkward.
Wait. You're over there, but you're behind me.
Oh wait, which was the real Marin?
Marin.
Also, as I've learned, also doing the Marin date in other contexts, Marin doesn't actually, the Marin who's following you doesn't actually do the hookshotting animation. She just magically teleports after your sprite lands, which is very fun. But yes, the space-time continuum has been shattered, and we had 2 Marin.
Yep. And
We're heading on to Telltale West.
if we had Alpha Marin won the Big Road War, it gets close to divide by zero. So I'm glad we didn't have to experience that.
The third and final of the Magic Bat locations. This one, I personally find this one less tedious to get to. It's on the way to Dungeon 8, which is a nice thing. So what does this one have?
Piece of heart.
Cool.
Now,
I mean, health is always nice. More health is always nice.
yeah. Now, Dungeon 8 is. I have access to Dungeon 8. What would phrase that? Dungeon 8 is considered in hard logic. I'm going to go there and get the items out of there and open up the portal right there and save and quit here just in case I mess up.
This is the other use for the mirror shield. You're supposed to have that to reflect the fire that's coming out of that flamethrower. But if you're clipped into the wall, and that is considered, I learned recently, that is considered a glitch for speedrunning purposes and is not allowed in glitchless. But if you are clipped into the wall, you don't take the full extent of damage, and you don't experience the pushback.
Yeah, and if you mess up with got knocked back, you can just tank the damage until you hit 0 health, and then be revived by the medicine. And during the medicine revival, you have iframes to go through the flamethrower. So,
Yeah.
luckily, I was clipped in and don't have to use the medicine.
So Warlink has the Ocarina and Frog Song of Soul, which means he did not actually technically need to bomb trigger the dungeon entrance, but it looks cool, so why not? Which is the dungeon where you actually obtain the magic rod, which means that several of the checks are gated by it. This dungeon is also home to the only bow gated item in the entire game. If you have the boomerang for something else that would normally require the bow.
I need a refresher. Was one of the hints said that boomerang is in here, or is it Face Shrine?
I believe it was here and Face Shrine had a secret.
Okay.
Which tells us nothing.
Yeah. So
Well, it tells us something potentially important could be in Face Shrine.
Yep, boomerang.
Hey!
Yeah.
Great timing.
Yeah, it's like, I remember we saw the hit for boomerang. I don't remember it was Turrock or Face Shrine, so yay, this is...
Boomerang is super powerful. It's the culmination of the vanilla trading quest. It's at the end of the trading quest for a reason. It would tear through the overworld quite quickly and intensely. It's always nice in the randomizer to see it early for a couple of reasons. Another reason is that it's a thing you can use to one-shot the final form of the final boss. The other intended way of defeating that form is 16 arrows to the face, which is more time-consuming and a little scarier. So always nice to see that. But like we were saying earlier, it doesn't actually, it does not take the place of a sword when it comes to defeating certain bosses or getting through certain obstacles.
Yeah, and other randomizer, the boomerang is like not that helpful or useful for anything. But for this, it is like it not only helps defeat enemies all that stuff, and grab stuff, but it's one of the two items needed to defeat the final phase of the final boss. There has been scenes that, there has been scenes, I experienced it, and I gave that say the Plago that,
he did.
like the first hour, you have everything to open up the egg, but you're missing something to defeat the final phase in Deathel, and actually, we both lied. There are 3 items that can beat Deathel. Bow and arrow, boomerang, and if you're that desperate and have so much time and feel lucky, bombs.
Yep. If you're not familiar with Deathel, Deathel is the boss with the giant eye that opens and closes with RNG. It's entirely RNG based, if I'm not mistaken, and you can technically damage it with bombs if you have a lot of bombs and a lot of patience. I tried it once just to see if I could, but yeah, that seed Warlink was talking about, I remember this vividly because there was an hour-long search for one of those 2 items, and then, if I am not mistaken, the bow was at Mamu, the Frog Song of Soul Check, which is already one of the longest, most tedious, expensive item checks in the game that I don't know, but I mean, I definitely put it off for as long as I can. And then the boomerang was in the 1 bow gated location, which is on that screen right there.
Yep.
Good times. You know how we were saying earlier that sometimes the generator chooses chaos? That's a good example.
Chaos or decides to be funny. There's the first seed that I did to finally de-rust after vetting seeds. Both the boomerang and the bow were in this dungeon, D8. Bow was on the boss. Boomerang was on that statue. It's just
classic troll behavior. Which is fine.
Last have been made.
Sometimes you want that for a story to tell. Also, interesting. Like, this is not a major logic skip unless I'm. No, it is technically a logic skip because you didn't have a key for it.
I don't have a. Yeah,
Did you
I don't
use a
have
key
a,
for this.
Yes.
But Warlink actually doing that super jump to get up onto that ledge bypassed the need to go through a side scroller, which requires the magic rod to melt some ice blocks. So even though he has the magic rod, that actually being in this area, that super jump saved time, and that's a good way to skip that, to bypass that the need for the magic rod if you don't have it, but you want to do that check.
Yeah, and I don't have any keys, so I'm leaving. I have to, oh hey!
Speaking of, well, there's one more check you can do in here.
There's like, C's got jokes.
As all the best seeds do.
Here's the other check. Hey!
Oh! It won't say no. Hard to say no.
Oh, Self, you can't do, you don't have any small keys, so you have to go. Not only have to do the long way, but I have to open up this portal, which will make things a little bit cumbersome.
Yeah, that's gonna spare him a trip to, back up to the... all the way back up the island when he gets the nightmare key. Or otherwise needs to come back.
Yep, I'm not going to regret that. And for those that are disappointed that I didn't bomb all the Dodongos, this is for you.
Yeah, that skip earlier only works in Key Cavern. It has something to do with how that room is coded with the Dodongos being the dungeon's official mini-boss with the warp that spawns after you defeat them. So there will also be Dodongos in Dungeon 6, which we may or may not see. But it only works in Key Cavern.
Mind if I step in really quickly with another announcement? I mean, everyone has been doing such an amazing job with donations and meeting incentives that we actually just now have another new incentive opened up. This one's a bit of different. This one's a milestone incentive, meaning all donations will go towards this incentive. It is to upgrade the Sworn co-op run that we have later on tonight into a co-op Morgana %. Meaning, the true ending of Sworn, James Swan and Curry will upgrade their any % run to Morgana % if it gets met. We need $525 total, and we are already at $472 roughly, meaning we are less than $55 away from meeting that incentive. So all donations for this one will go towards that incentive. So not a ton of time left because that run is coming up after our next run. So if you want to see a bit of a change for that Sworn run, just make sure to donate when you by typing !donate into chat.
Nice.
And actually, speaking of, I believe that we just got a donation coming up really quickly. Everybody's been having all these donations left and right have been going exceedingly well. And it is a $20 donation from Kirby just saying Pollo X times 500. I am not saying the word Pollo 500 times.
We'll all think it in our hearts. Very nice.
And also that donation also puts us at $500 for Prevent-A-Thon 5. $500 already just on day one, which is just absolutely incredible. Meaning we're also now only what is it now? Roughly $25 away from meeting that incentive to upgrade to co-op to Morgana co-op %, or co-op Morgana %. Gotta mix the two of them.
Amazing, love it.
And now we're going to the one room that, if as a kid, for everyone, have nightmares about.
Yep. Those enemies. Hey! What are the odds of vanilla nightmare key in a Keysanity run?
I swear I hit the randomizer button when I generate this. And I didn't burn my last small keys, so that's great news. Because if that wasn't the nightmare key, I would have left the dungeon there, because there are 3 other rooms that are gated by small keys that I'm like out of the place. Like it's not in logic. Those items are not in logic because I don't have the small keys. But since I have all the small keys and access to this boss, sorry for anyone who are afraid of clowns. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Hey, Self, we forgot to do this. 3, 4. And now we do that. Clip, boom.
definitely a nice thing to know. Definitely shortens that boss fight by quite a bit. And that is our second instrument.
Now we're at 2 instruments, 4 to go. Oh, there's Bow Wow.
Yes. So since we found Bow Wow earlier, Bow Wow hangs out by the swamp and waits for us. In the vanilla game, he has 2 functions, and they are to be cute and to be best boy, but also to help us get through the swamp. Because he'll eat anything, which honestly sounds kind of great.
Yeah, and there is a mode you can turn on. It's called Good Boy mode, in which you will have Bow Wow the whole game. And sometimes he's helpful, and other times he breaks things.
But that's okay. That's okay. We still love him.
Yep. Let's see. What's my...
That is our first shield. Shields are actually gating a couple of things in addition to being helpful, especially in early game if you don't have weapons for just avoiding damage and pushing through enemies. But shields can actually be gating stuff. There are some dungeons, Dungeon 4 and Dungeon 1 have some rooms with some spiked beetles, and those spiked beetles can only be flipped over with the shield in this game. If you're familiar with the Oracle games, the same enemies can also be flipped over with the shovel, but that does not work here. So that shield might actually be required. So this is...
Yeah, and Dungeon 1, those beetles, you can defeat those beetles without the shield, but it's the highest difficulty logic check, and it's time consuming to defeat them, so...
Also not necessarily the best or most entertaining marathon watch to watch a runner just, swipe at beetles and try to get them the right subpixel for several minutes,
Yep, it is something that you usually do if you're a BK in a multi-world, and it's like, you know what, that's basically how I learned most of the tricks. It's basically... Oh, that wasn't medicine. Sad. That's how I learned most of the tricks. It's basically multi-worlds, and if I'm BK, it's like, okay, how do I do this trick? And, oh, that opens up a lot of things. And
this is a really fun use of the boomerang here.
Yep. Come here. Get over
Normally
here.
you would have to leave and go through another entrance outside to get that check, but with the boomerang you can not only take out the ball and chain guard, you can also get the item. Save some time. Ooh.
Okay.
Very nice. Be well positioned to take on Tail Cave once we can get inside. Five of the dungeons, instrument dungeons are gated by specific access keys, and the only point of those access keys is to let you in the dungeon. And the other 3 are gated by some other combination of items. And even when we do out of logic stuff to get early access to those non-key dungeons, we still have to do something. So keeping it interesting.
Also, there's another setting called keyhole setting. Basically, the keyholes itself is a checks, and you have to find an item to actually open the dungeons. It's quite fun and funny. It's like, oh, I got the key. Let's open this up, and it gives you the. I was like, wait, what?
10 seashell check here.
This is number 10. Yep. Piece of heart.
Yip,
Let's turn in the ribbon.
yip is the word stylish job.
Makeup, jewelers, dresses, I want them all.
Oh, that's sad. because yeah, certain randomizers like A Link to the Past have had their 999 rupee limit overridden or recoded so that you can have 4 digits. That is not possible here. We max out at 999.
Okay, I'm going to go to South Base Shrine to do those 2 checks. While I'm going through that, let's go over what is needed for what do I need to fully complete the dungeons. Dungeon 1, I need a tail key. Once I get that full clears that. Dungeon D3, I need Boots of Nightmare key. D4. With my skills, with my skill set, I can full clear it with, and need the Nightmare Cure for that. D5, I can full clear everything except for the boss. D6, I need the base key to get the instrument of it. Brings it to full clear. D8, I just need.
We are mostly on a nightmare key hunt at this point. With the number of dungeons that Warlink otherwise has access to, and with the things he knows how to do, it is possible, depending on what happens, that he might be able to finish this seed without the boots. Depending on placement and stuff.
Yeah, we're at the point of the seed. It's basically, I can be in go mode like real quick.
Yeah.
Depending on the dungeons, depending if all the nightmare keys are like decide to hang out in one dungeon.
Which happens. Sometimes that happens. But this is the Armos fight, which is the mini boss that would normally give you the face key. So we already saw a vanilla nightmare key in Dungeon 2. So who knows? Maybe. Also, the magic rod makes this fight so much easier and way more pleasant. There's nothing like having to do it early and a seed on 3 hearts with a sword.
Mind if I step in with a quick donation? We have a $10 donation from Anonymous saying, great run and great event. If that ain't the understatement of the century, right here, this has been a great run and a great start to Prevent-A-Thon 7. We are now just roughly $15 away from meeting the upgrade to co-op Morgana % for the Sworn run coming up later tonight. It's roughly, if my math is right, 97% of the way there. So you could be the one that gets us to $525 for this Prevent-A-Thon and see if we can get that co-op Morgana % run that we got later on tonight between James Wan and Curry.
Nice. So close.
Also, another thing that we kind of glanced over it because it was the beginning and I was just blazing through. In the vanilla game, that walrus was blocking the desert, but in the randomizer, he's just moved up 1 space, and you can walk past it. And if I came within range of that walrus, I triggered the cutscene to have the walrus move out of the way, and in result, Marin will leave our party. But you don't need to have Marin in the whole game, so I'm avoiding it. So we
gotta be careful. We gotta keep her away from him.
Yeah,
it is a great scene when she sings and he falls into the water. But then the animals come get her and get her to go hang out in the village and sing for them instead, and she would leave the party at that point, and we can't have that.
Yeah, and there's another little Easter egg also in the game is after that cutscene. Oh, hi, Bow Wow. Anyways, there's a little Easter egg that after that cutscene, if you play the Battle of Windfish near that wall, where the walrus was, the walrus pops out of the water and is like, Marin, wait, Link, and just goes. Now, this one, I have a gut.
Dungeon 5.
Yeah, I have a gut.
I do too.
I have a gut feeling there's something in here.
Yeah, this dungeon's pretty item dense, especially in terms of things we have access to. There's also quite a lot of stuff in Dungeon 6, but we cannot go into there right now because we do not have the keys.
Yeah, then also I was about to head here until we got the dog. But it's like, nope, I need the feather. We're going to complete all that stuff. So
yeah. And now we have 2 instruments, so that was a great call.
Yeah, so I have a gut feeling this has something important. Since I have access all this time.
Face Shrine, if that's one of the places we end up going, that'll be a place where we will have more small keys than we need. Oh, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, we should come here. I should have come here after I get dog food, but we need the feather. So, anyway, so yeah, that's a thing.
This is an interesting dungeon to be doing on various modes because you need the flippers to get into it. You need various items to get around. The hook. This is the dungeon where you would normally get the hook shot. Master Stalfos is very dramatic. He likes to just drop out of the ceiling and make a big deal out of stuff. In the vanilla game, this is where the hook shot would be. In theory, according to the lore, but instead it's been replaced with a note from Master Stalfos himself saying, "I got what was inside this box, come and get it," which is an item. That is an item that is elsewhere in the seed. I don't think we've seen it yet. It is very, very funny to get that item, have someone else get that item for you if you're playing LADXR in Archipelago, because the tracker will say they gave you nothing.
Yeah, and the message shows up saying, you receive nothing. And you don't face plant on the ground like Super Mario RPG.
Seeing some more bottle grotto smells here, that could potentially be important, even though we have the instrument, because there were some rooms Warlink did not go into because they were locked. And, in a situation like this, it makes complete sense to prioritize getting the instrument. But those rooms could potentially also have something.
Yeah, no, I have 4 out of the 5 for that dungeon, so I can go back and grab 2. I can save scum those keys, but that requires a hard reset. But I'm doing this without doing that, just for.
We're being super honest.
Yeah.
With our keys. But the seashell count is getting up there. I mean, we just actually did the turn in for the 10 seashells, and we're now at 17. So I think we might be seeing the full turn in, and we know it's not the level 2 sword because we already have it.
It could be, like I said, it could be something. It could be something that the genre is like, what would be real funny if this gates everything.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Keysanity seeds where the last nightmare key I needed has been on 20 seashells.
Yeah, and there's like I said, another reason why I lowered the count is basically it comes down to a key hunt, and just tone it down just to be able to speed up the process.
You're kind of just clearing this room. Mind if I give in a quick word about kind of really the reason that we are all gathered here for Prevent-A-Thon?
Yeah.
Well, as a reminder, we are here for Little Warriors, and since 2014, Little Warriors has supported more than 1,000 children and families for the Be Brave Ranch, with more than 70% of participants reporting significant reductions in trauma symptoms. And throughout this entire first day, we've raised over $500, which is just an absolutely incredible amount, and I cannot wait to see how much more money we can raise throughout this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me check the map. Okay, since we have the boots.
One of the biggest thing the boots unlocked is access to, well, once, if I'm not mistaken, we still need the Nightmare Key to Dungeon 3. But the ability to finish Dungeon 3 once we have that Nightmare Key. But the other thing it unlocks is that there were 2 trees on the island that you can run into and get stuff, and that was one of them, and the other one is just outside the village. Also, Kirby, go fast.
Wow! Yeah, this curry, real curry.
Get our second block here.
Stick, so that was a seashell.
Right.
Oh, I just realized I have the bow and bombs. I could have done stuff with the... Yeah, whatever. Most of the stuff was, you saw me for the first 3 fights. The intended way to fight him is Spirit Slash him to him become a pile of bones and use bombs to damage him. What I did is do sword beams for the first 3 fights, and the intended way to defeat him, or the fastest way and to totally break the sequence, you can use bomb arrows, and he drops a small key for D5, so technically you just need 1 small key and you can get all the keys from there. Also,
Half the bees.
bees, my god.
That is definitely not the recommended way to deal with bees. But that was 18 seashells, so we're getting closer to seeing if there's going to be a payoff there.
I'm going to dive back to D3 to do all the checks except for the one that requires the Nightmare Key. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, this is your first, this is the game's first expectation that you will do a running jump to get over this larger pit. And also that one. Hey!
19.
Oh, it's happening soon, once we find one more.
which might be soon, TM.
Yeah, so this room and the room to its left is not one you will see done in standard mode runs, because they are guaranteed to have small keys for this dungeon, and that's just a thing that we know. Key Cavern has 9 small keys in all, and because of, like we were talking earlier about how the key logic works, they all have to be, although it's actually a little bit different in this dungeon, but they generally have to be available outside of locked doors, outside of locked rooms. But because there are 9 you might end up getting a small key on the boss because there's an extra key that you don't necessarily need to finish the dungeon. But we know in not Keysanity that those two rooms will always just be gating small keys. That's the only exception to what we were talking about in the game.
Wow. That's
fun.
Yeah.
It's an umbrella. But now that Warlink has the boots, he can run through these giant crystal things, which are needed to get rid of those perils. We're getting to a point where there might be some.
There are two dungeons there are 3 areas I need are left. One is to go back to the full color dungeon, start diving in D4, or I think this is the most annoying, most the worst check in the game. Tell us why.
And here it is.
Tell us why this is the worst check in the game.
Well, we've been talking a lot about, checks that we've all got checks that we find tedious and maybe that we don't want to do because it's a huge time sink, and maybe we have checks that we don't want to do because they're too expensive, and maybe we have checks we don't want to do because they have a really, really long time consuming task that is required before you can do them, or maybe they have an unskippable cutscene with discordant music. This one has all of those things.
Yeah.
And we are doing it to be thorough, and let's be real, also for the memes a little bit.
Yep.
A tiny bit?
Yep. And also, there's a sign maze. I have to read the signs in the correct order. If I mess up once,
Yep.
If I accidentally read the same sign twice, I have to start over.
Yep.
And guess what? There is a... I'll explain after this cutscene.
Enjoy.
Just enjoy this previous unreleased cut. I was hoping that was a small key to Eagle's Tower, just for memes
upon memes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did it. We completed song % at least.
Yep. And to continue what I just said, and if you're one of those people who's like, boy, this sign post maze, I hope there's nothing else to make it even worse. Well, there is. For the goal, not only you can have different instrument requirements or specific instruments. There's one mode up. You need to collect 20 seashells to open the egg. Or there's one mode. It's called sign maze, and that means throughout the whole world there are signs added to the overworld, and you have to read the signs in the correct order, and the space between each sign could be multiple squares away. So basically you have to map out of where exactly it's coming out, and it could be either quite fun or annoying because it requires items to access to where that signs are at, and I did it once. I have my fill.
Once was enough.
Oh, here's the...
There it is! He hit it so well, he hit it in Angler Tunnel. But we saw those spiked beetles just here that they needed to be flipped over, just like that. just like that in order to open that. That also room that Warlink just did with the crystals that get slashed by the sword, that's also one of the game's sword-gated checks because the sword is required in order to clear those crystals. There is technically a way. Oh.
Oh. What are the chances he has something?
For the memes?
Well, I have to do it. I'm close to it. I could.
We are close to it. We are close to it.
I could.
Everybody's like, what are they talking about? Don't worry.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it when it happens.
Yeah. We're at the point of okay. Where these items are located?
Angler Tunnel also has quite item dense on the Keysanity seed, so there's a chance that we could be finding some stuff we need in here. You can do, this is the dungeon where you get the flippers in vanilla. You can do a surprising amount without them, including some stuff you would think is actually flipper gated. If you have like the boomerang, for instance, you can do one of the side scrollers and get an item. Actually, it's also possible to get the item without doing the side scroller.
And also, and also, even with the flippers, it's possible to duplicate the item.
Yeah. Indeed. However, you need the item in addition to the Nightmare Key to beat the final boss because it is a side scroller with underwater.
Yeah, I don't need it. I'm good on health.
Yeah, so that piece of heart that dropped down there, if Warlink had grabbed at it with the boomerang and gotten it before it dropped into the hole, it would have given him a heart piece, but it would also still have dropped, the game would still have considered it to have dropped into the side scroller below, which means that if he went down there, it would have been there, so he could have gotten that twice. Oh!
Aww!
Oh, of course. Of course.
We don't need
Why
that.
would it be one of the ones we need? The game heard you about wanting it to have been a small key. That's very nice, though. The game heard you about it wanting to be a small key to Eagle's Tower at Mamu, and came up with the next best thing.
I forgot to do something. I forgot to do something before I went over here. And I'm at 20. What are the chances 20 has something? Most likely, but... Right under here.
This is on our way to the Vanilla Nightmare Key check. Got some thwomps. Fun with thwomps.
As you're kind of spelunking on through this dungeon, is there time for a couple of quick donations?
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got a $25 donation from Rumor Macabre saying, "Woo, I've been learning the Link to the Past randomizer. It's so fun to see a Link's Awakening run." That donation has now officially got us to 525, meaning that we are going to see Sworn Co-op Morgana % later on tonight. Thank you to everybody who have donated up to this point. And we also got an extra $15 donation from Regali that just only says smiley face. And you know what? That donation and every single donation we've had up to this point has been giving me a smiley face. So thank you, Regali, and thank you, Rumor Macabre, for the donations. We are now at $550 for this first day of Prevent-A-Thon 7, which is just absolutely incredible to see.
Okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is kind of like a cleanup phase. Once we have all the Nightmare Keys, we'll basically hit like a boss rush.
Yep.
Because we have all the other like item type stuff that is needed to complete the seed. It's now just a matter of getting into dungeons and getting into rooms. So what do we think, chat? Chat, do we think it's important? Do we think the mythical 20 seashell check is important?
I think it's important.
My job here is finished.
Yes, this is where you would get the level 2 sword. So there's a big elaborate cutscene, and it's gonna look like a sword, but we have all the swords, so we know it's not a sword. It is instead... No.
Nope. Nope. Oh, boy. Okay, color done. Okay, okay, remind me to plus one gold leaf to the count. I forgot that.
Yeah, you are at
four.
3.
Yeah, 3. That would be 4.
Oh right, 4. Yeah, 4 because you didn't get that.
Yeah, I left in disgust. Okay, now this.
Yes, Warlink now has everything he needs to complete Color Dungeon, which will not get him an instrument, but will get us some more checks. There's still 4 things in there.
It's 3. One of them was a compass that I like. Nope.
Oh, there. Okay. Yeah. Glad you remembered that because I did not. This dungeon has too many bosses. Fought one of them earlier in order to access 2 of the checks. However, we're I think headed for the other one now, which is was not in the original version of the game, like the Game Boy Link's Awakening, which is the one I grew up on, and I feel like this one is meant to be a bit of a hint about one of the nightmare phases that we'll be seeing later. He says, you know, our pitiful sword is no match for him. He doesn't know we have the level 2 sword, actually, but that's fine. Wait for him to get out of the way, and this would be the Nightmare Key, but we already have the Nightmare Key. Interesting. Angler's Tunnel is one of those dungeons that if you know where you're going, and you know some shenanigans, or even not even really shenanigans, you end up with way more. The dungeon gives you way more small keys than you actually need.
It's combination of shenanigans, and if you have the right items ahead of time, like if you have the flippers, you bypass a couple of the.
Yeah.
Remember, hit the red ones. What do you have to say? Okay. The hints are not going to help me. They're not going to tell me where.
Yeah, they won't tell you where keys are. So.
Yeah, I'm.
Although I mean, it would tell you where like tail key or face key are. It just wouldn't tell.
Actually, I need.
So, it's time to fight the giant color switch. The true final boss of any Zelda game. It's not really. And we will not see the items in this room. We will see them in the next room where the fairy will reward us for our efforts. Oh! Okay. Alright, so we now have access to Dungeon 6.
Okay.
Which can be, we can get the instrument out of. And it has quite a lot of checks also. And,
I'm glad we saw it, but I kind of don't, because that's another instrument, but that's a lot of checks that there could be. I'm going to be positive. There's going to be nightmare keys in there. There's going to be nightmare keys in there. There's going to be nightmare keys in there.
Chat, please send there's going to be nightmare keys energy to Face Shrine. It's the real key cavern.
Please, we need those keys.
Just for context, though, there are 15 checks there, and Warlink knows how to pull some tricks that will let him get checks without additional small keys, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't have the level 2 bracelet, so I can't get.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. I looked at my check. I was like, wait, what is the other thing? It's not lining up. Oh, I don't have the level 2 bracelet. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So this dungeon is where you would get the strength upgrade, which is the level 2 power bracelet. Which, I mean, you know, at this point, I feel like it's. My gut says that like French vanilla, which has definitely happened to I know both of us before.
Oh yeah.
French Vanilla level 2 bracelet and all the remaining nightmare keys. Tail key would also be great. We would love to see that. As soon as we see the Turtle Rock Nightmare key, Orlink activated that portal earlier, so he can just warp on back to Dungeon 8 and get that instrument, get the Thunder Drum. He's taking out this Moldorm here for reasons of shenanigans. So you're supposed to have the level 2 power bracelet in order to lift these elephant statues.
Yep.
You can also just bomb trigger them. Stuff blowing up is also a cutscene.
Okay, so we're...
Oh!
So we're...
Okay, chat, it's working.
4. We're at 4.
Yes. Catfish's maw will be...
Yep.
And the game wanted him to have the level 2 power bracelet for that, so shoutouts to Out of Logic hijinks.
Okay, so that means the boss at Catfish Maw won't have level 2. Fine. If you're not going to be helpful, boom.
Bomb arrows are a very helpful thing that happen when you equip the bow on one button and the bombs on the other and press quote at the same time. And you can launch projectile bombs, which is very handy.
Yep, it's something that it's something that they wanted to do for Link to the Past, but they were unable to do it, so they were able to do it in this game. And another thing they want to do in Link's Awakening, but Links to the Past, but not unable. Something that they want to do in Link to the Past, but unable to do it, but didn't here. You don't have to equip your sword. So yeah.
Sword, boots, power bracelets. Yeah, you got to equip everything. But that's okay.
Okay, there is one.
That's okay.
There is one more logic check left, and then we're going to head over to the boss.
And this is a fun boss. He lives in the floor.
Man.
Now, this is the check to see, is the level 2 power bracelet also vanilla like the Dungeon 2 Nightmare Key? I know you did press the randomize button, but sometimes it gets stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's yes, because you're about to get 3, and then you have Catfish's Maw and Turtle Rock.
Okay, now I need one more Nightmare Key or Tail Key, and then boom, boom, boom. Oh, hey, Self, you don't have to level 2 bracelet. You can't pick up the. That's that. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Up, down, open.
I enjoyed that a lot because it
Yeah.
looked like Kirby was doing DDR.
I was about to say, am I the only one that it feels so happy just going through and breaking all those tiles whenever you play through this game?
Satisfying. Yeah, absolutely. I also, like, you can also, unlike in A Link to the Past, you can just get your shield out and hold it out, and that will break the thing if you just want to stand there. I know A Link to the Past also has the coffee break room, which is also very fun, but it doesn't work in all the tower rooms.
Okay, now grab that. Let's see if I can do it in first try.
Yeah, you are technically supposed to have the level 2
There
power
we go.
bracelet in order to finish this dungeon, but you know, bomb triggers. Bomb triggers are a form of power bracelet. Maybe.
I consider this as TNT.
Bombs have so many uses in this game. We're gonna the best one is coming towards the end. Oh! Chat.
Go. Let's go. Let's go.
Everyone.
No
It
time.
was
No
like the end
time.
of Earthbound. Everybody.
No time.
Everyone dedicated their hopes and dreams to finding the Whirling's Nightmare keys, and it worked. He is not supposed to have 2 of these, everybody. Very nice. Very nice.
Man, let's... 1, 2... It's going. We're going to have a fun debriefing, trying to figure out where everything is located after this.
So Warlink got something there we call text box skip, where you get 3 bombs on facade that actually make contact and deliver damage before he starts talking. Of course, it's another seashell. And so in doing that, that shortens the phase where he's actually throwing tiles at you by 1 hit, which is very handy.
Okay, we're going to swing by to the Catfish Mall to pick up that one. Oh. Hey. We're not returning home. We're just...
Since he's done most of these dungeons, these dives into for the boss, the bosses will actually be pretty quick, and then it's straight to it's egg time.
Yeah, this one will be the longest of the remaining because there's no quick way to do the boss yet. Like D8, it's the teleporter, not teleporter, the overworld teleporter is right over there. D3 I already teleported to the mini boss, and we already go through there. Yep.
This dungeon, like all dungeons, also has a mini boss, but no, I don't think we will.
Yeah, the mini boss is 2 Gomas. It's another boss that requires either the bow and arrow, the bow, or I think the boomerang. But and if you have the ocarina and Battle of the Windfish, you can speed up the fight faster. But what I just did is blocks are just suggestions.
Exactly.
And I am glad I'm not wearing red tunic.
So slime eel, not to be confused with slime eye, who we'll be seeing shortly. Slime eel chooses a hole in the wall to come out of, and then we use the hookshot to pull him further out of the hole to make him vulnerable to attack. This is always 8 hits. Sorry. It does not matter whether you have the level 2 sword. It does not matter if you have the red tunic, which actually increases your offense. And in fact, if you have those 2 things, the animation for swinging your sword actually takes a little bit longer, so that it actually slows this fight down. But that was a great slime eel fight, and
yeah, and he has a second phase once he goes down on low health that there is a chance that when you hookshot him out, it pulls a fake version that it's a slightly bigger mold arm and then blows up. So and it's annoying.
And if you don't know that it's
So-
fake, you wonder, like, you see it explode and you think, why is it not taking damage? But it's not real.
we're gonna go to D3 first. Next.
Yeah, this one we've got the mini boss portal open, so this will be a very quick run to the to Slime Eye. Back-to-back slime bosses.
Yeah, I'll take care of myself.
Yeah, one of the reasons you need quite a lot of small keys just to get through this dungeon is that you just need 4 just to get downstairs to access the boss, assuming you don't know the shenanigans. There are some super jumps that you can do, I think, over at least one of those key blocks.
Yeah, that, and also, you saw briefly, there are, it's referred to as nag messages. Basically, if I go to a pond without equipping the bracelet, you get a text box saying, this object is too heavy, I can't pick up with your bare hands. With that message, I'm able to, like, position myself, 1 pixel over to clip through, so that is also needed.
Which is a setting.
And
you can turn those off for your own convenience, but then you can't do the trick Orlink was just talking about. Alright, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And that is...
Yeah, the nag message is...
Yep.
Number 5. Yeah, the nag messages are like turn off on default because it's not... In regular play, it's not helpful, but if you're one of those that knows how to get through, use it for your own knowledge. And with this portal...
Yeah, the portal is a real-time saver. No one wants to run all the way back up the mountain in go mode.
And this is still out of logic. I'm still missing a shield. And talk about briefly, what I just did was considered as Jesus jumping. I didn't get an opportunity to show it off because we found flippers early, but if I jump on water without flippers or lava, there is a 1-frame window that I can jump off the water or lava without, like, taking damage or drown. And that jump right there,
so
it's enough for me to clip down 1 to perform the
Sorry.
Okay, after this run, we're gonna have a fun debriefing where everything is, because, man. So we have 6 instruments.
We did it. We're not done, but we have what is needed. We have all the ingredients. For egg.
And since we did an D8, we're over here.
Convenient routing.
Convenient routing is convenient.
So thanks to that jump, with the lava, Orlink actually bypassed the need to do either of that dungeon's side scrollers. So that also saves quite a bit of time. So this is nice, right? You have Marin with you, and she's gonna actually like sing the Ballad of the Windfish, and yeah, you're gonna get your ocarina out and stuff.
I'm good. This is another one. This is another one you can do a bump trigger, but this is another thing Marin does if you try to play Ballroom Fish in front of her. Not very good, eh? What? Did I just say something? No, you're hearing something. Things.
Everyone's a critic.
Yeah, I actually didn't skip it, so. And before we start do anything, drop me a save here, just for safety.
Yeah. I found out about the thing he's talking about the hard way.
Yeah, I'll explain why. Also, there's a book in the library that if you read it, it tells you the path to get to the boss. But if you don't read it, the path is always the same. But anyways, the reason I dropped a save is because of this pin right here. If you accidentally open up your menu, there's a chance it softbox your game.
Yep.
And you have a fun time of when was my last save? And how much
Stay
time
on
I
that white
lost.
screen forever. The music keeps going, but you can never leave.
Yep. Anyways. This is it though. First phase. It's the slime we saw partially in Coloring Engine. Second phase.
We all know this.
You're going to get a preview of the next game. You get a preview of it.
Which everybody was so nice to meet that
Yeah.
incentive earlier today. Did you get a sneak preview?
Yep.
Yeah. In the Link to the Past, you can also use the bug catching net to deflect Aghanim beams, and in the randomizer, you can use the hammer. We don't have either of those things, but we have a shovel. We found another use for the shovel.
I love that this is a staple in the franchise where
Okay.
you use the weirdest items for the final boss.
Random tools, like from your tool shed.
Yep. The bottle.
Any like local hardware store has a Aghanim defeat fighting section.
Yeah, it's right next to the lawnmowers.
Yep.
Okay, that's...
Very nice. Okay, so moving on to the mold worm.
based Mordorm that we didn't see at all, sadly.
Very nice stone monster. And
Here's Ganon, his only appearance in this whole game.
And there was
Get
Ganon.
roasted.
And you can one-shot these last two forms, so Ganon kind of is the last boss, if you think about it. But there he is, we were talking earlier about how, if you have the bow, it's 16 hits. If you have the boomerang, it's 1 if you can actually get the hitbox, and if he would actually open his eye. There we go. GG. That is, technically bombs also work if you can make contact, but why would you want to? That seed had shenanigans, but that was a great run, Whirling. GG.
Time stops now.
GG! Woo! What a journey.
That's...
Pretty sure this is the first owl in the series.
And here's the owl that one. Yes, and this is the only time we saw the owl in the whole random, because all of his cutscenes are cut off because this is a big, huge...
All right.
Big, huge...
All right, Warlink, Plagal, any shout-outs both of you want to do as we're kind of nearing basically at the end now?
I'll hand off to Plagal
Thanks for having me. I know this is the 4th time I've done this for you, and we talked about this game a lot, and you vetted my frost seed, and yeah, I always appreciate getting to chat about it, and thanks to Prevent-A-Thon and the whole team for doing this, and looking forward to seeing you all in chat on my mod shifts this weekend.
Yeah, and also shoutouts to Dave, the developer of the randomizer, K-Branch, the developer for the tracker, all that stuff, help things stream on all that stuff. Some of the community members that runs in the Discord, Notables, Maddie, Muffin Jet, Look Worcester, the whole German, there's a German subgroup of the randomizer that does it, so shout out to them. If you're interested in playing it or join the community, we're happy to join the server and play this randomizer. If you have any questions like what should I do, what can I do here, what tricks and all that stuff, we're willing to explain everything. So if this looks fun and you want to try it yourself, have at it. And we wake the wingfish, we somehow link again. And somehow, what's this? This must be all a dream.
He dreamt he was Kirby. Boyo.
Yep.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, it was Dreamland.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Warlink